You wrote a post recently that I thought was a beautiful breakdown of what a productized service is. But can you just like briefly explain what is a productized service? Because those two sound like oxymorons, but they're not.
Yeah. So it's really a packaging thing. And I think that's really where we all get lost with productized services is it's just packaging and pricing is what this is. It's a specific strategy. And it's where you package a service offering in such a way that it can be bought off the shelf as a product. Sort of the hallmark of it is that you have a website where you can list a price and actually stand to that price because most services, most agencies, most contractors are done on some sort of hourly or variable rate. There's really three core types of productized services, and they have three different pricing models. You can have a staffing business, an outsourced process, or some sort of knowledge like a coaching advising business. Those are the three types of productized services. And then you can have a usage based service. So, like in podcasting, per episode would be usage based, a subscription. So, you could pay monthly for getting everything handled on one show, or value based, where then you're either taking a percentage of the upside or you're charging some larger flat fee package based on perceived value.
You said you were dumb. Let's be honest. I'm the real dumb guy in the room. Let me try and like reframe it in a way that has helped me understand it. When you're selling things, you have two large categories of things that you sell, either a product or a service. And you can have a product, which could be a commodity, it could be a widget, it could be a car, like it could be anything that is potentially tangible. But then many times the non-tangible things, the intangibles, we would call services, where I come and I decorate your room, or I give you an analysis on engineering specs. I come do a survey on your land, etc. But those are harder to do because they're intangible. They change every single time. I come out, I do an analysis, I do an assessment, and I say, well, based on your room, based on the square footage, this is what I would charge in order to, analyze it. The services piece can feel subjective because you're coming in, you're making an analysis and assessment and making a recommendation of what you're going to provide. Whereas the product, it's like, hey, this is the same every single time. This is what a Ford Focus looks like. This is what oil is. This is, how many M&Ms are in an M&M package, right? Like those are products that are standardized. They don't change much, whereas the services do. So when you talk about a productized service, essentially what you're doing is you're creating a reasonable expectation of outcome. And as a result, you're able to standardize the pricing for it as well.
Yeah. And I'd say I specifically specialize in versions of these things that are really fractional managed staffing of different sorts. So you are either buying a piece of a person from us who is specifically skilled in what you need done, or you are buying a piece of a team from us with a specific skill set. And in both cases, I try to focus on a subscription. So that way it's, oh, we don't need a whole podcast editor. We need half or a quarter of one. We can buy it from this company and we will always have a top notch podcast editor that we can work with.
So give me an example of a specific product that you have that you've turned into a productized service.
I, in fact, just did. I have the first company I started was very similar to the last company I sold. The last company I sold was a white label podcast post production business. And then the first of these new managed staffing productized services I started was a company called Podcast 360 that is, in fact, podcast post production. And so the way it is priced and the way it's set up, you get a portion of a podcast post production team.
Okay. So typically I'd record a podcast and I would send it out to my team. I have an editor who actually chops it up. Maybe it's a video editor doing one thing, maybe it's an audio editor, maybe it's both. And they may charge me different rates based on the amount of time that they spend on an episode. You would standardize it. You would just say like, hey, for X number of dollars per month or per episode. This
per
is what
month.
we'll charge. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's per
So
month.
we say for $5.40 a month, we're going to turn around an episode in 2 days if it's up to an hour in length. And in 24 hours, we can give you a transcript cleaned and human written. We can give you an AI one immediately. And if you want special social clips, we're going to do a package of 3 of those, and it's going to be 24 more hours. And so you can just slot things in a queue, and we're going to work through that queue. And if you want to go half speed, you pay $360 instead of $540.
We've got a cute name for it, productized services, but to me, it just sounds like being clear with what your offering is.
Like I said, it's really just packaging and pricing.
Why do you think it's become more popular? Or is this just a rebrand of something that's existed for a long time?
Am I allowed to talk negative?
Spicy take?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
I got a lot of
Yes.
spice.
Only negative. That's how we grow. That's how we grow. You go negative. I'm just
Great. Thank you.
kidding.
That's look, I don't go negative because I'm wrong. I go negative because I'm right and nobody's able to say it because we all get talked down on for being negative about things. But people say dumb things all the time. And I'm going to start with one. So, Brett from Design Joy,
Okay.
Brett from DJ. I almost bought his business several years ago. I know many other guys in the productized service space. Every productized service OG has a story about looking at Design Joy to buy it from Brett. And every one of us has the same story about him being miserable talking about it. I have never seen him happy. I know he makes a lot of money as a personal income. He's doing like $1 million a year as a freelancer or whatever.
Okay.
But that's like, the man does not seem happy. And I've never seen him happy in the time that like
Why?
well, because he is a solo consultant who is paid to be essentially on call as a designer for 9 to 5 for like 10 different companies at a time.
Okay.
And he's not a business. He's not a service. He's just selling himself. Now, granted, he's now launched a business with a productized services venture studio to sort of help spin some of this out. And he launched a course to talk about how to productize yourself. But you know who's probably a better fit for telling you how to productize yourself? Somebody who actually grew a business. Productization is the best way to get yourself trapped at 150 to 200,000 a year. I know because I specialize in half my business model is, and I've got 3 of these businesses active right now. 2 of them are on the model where I take a freelancer with a niche skill set, I give him the playbook. He's going to get trapped at 100 to 200,000 a year in net profit. But for him, that's a 5x. If it's an offshore freelancer, that's a 10x on their earnings. They're happy. I get to pull 30 to 50% off that. And I probably put 20 or 30 down to start the business. So it's a good deal for me.
Michael Greenberg spitting fire. Again, dumb guy here.
Yeah. Oh,
let
yeah.
Me, let me try to ask.
I'm
So
pretty caffeinated this morning.
let's do this thing. You're caffeinated. I'm riddled up. Let's do this thing. So is the reason that he's hitting the ceiling because he didn't figure out a way to scale himself? He didn't actually learn how to create productized services? Because it seems to me that if you can create productized services, you are creating clarity around what you're providing. And if you're creating clarity around what you're providing, you should be able to create clarity around how you provide that on the back end, right? And so then you have SOPs that you can roll out. You can bring a team on. You can say, all right, for this specific task or function of my deliverable, I need to hire these types of people. And then you scale up that way. Are you saying that Brett would Design Joy? I don't know him particularly well, but are you saying he just couldn't figure it out? He couldn't figure out how to scale himself? Is that why he's miserable?
Oh, no. I think he's obviously a smart guy. Like he could have figured it out, but he chose to build the most profit as an individual consultant with no employees that he could reach. And so he has continued to raise his pricing, and that works out well. And he had a controversy a little while back when he stretched himself too thin and things got bad for his clients, which happens with a lot of productized services too, especially that sort of solo expert queue-based rental. But when I think of my buddies who have consulting businesses, who I would consider like they have a business versus they are freelance,
Okay.
they've got a pod of experts who work with them. And what his clients are buying is him, the expert designer, which is great. That's a-okay. But I don't see an individual asset that you cannot sell because I don't think they're hiring Design Joy for Design Joy. They're hiring Design Joy for Brett from Design Joy.
Going away from Brett,
Yeah.
is productized services what happens when an agency business decides they want to scale?
In digital agencies, yeah, 9 out of 10 times.
Here's what I mean by that. We don't even have to use the digital agency example. I'm a CPA and I want to start a CPA practice. Well, at first, it's just me. I'm doing all the work. I'm doing all the fulfillment. I'm handling the customers, the clients, et cetera. And then eventually, I have to figure out a way to scale myself. So in order to do that, I've got to standardize kind of what I'm providing. And this could be the same for fractional CFOs. This could be the same for digital agencies. Just anybody who starts out as selling their skill set to other people, if they want to scale that, they've got to put systems in place. And those systems being put in place is effectively a productized service.
I would say almost.
Okay. I feel like I'm like getting it. I'm like, okay, cool, I got it. And every time I say it to you, you're like, yeah, kind of. Dang it.
The key to the productized service is that, at least in my mind, it is, when you say it, you'll get like the delivery side right, or you'll get the pricing side right, but it's got to be the combo. So that most CPAs I know, they're charging hourly packages. They're still doing retainers.
Okay.
And it's when they switch to the packaged pricing model, in addition to the systemized, standardized delivery, that it becomes productized.
Got it. Because you can scale an agency that is still doing per job estimates, right? Like they're still tailoring it per job. But what you're saying is you have to pair the pricing standardization with the delivery standardization in order for it to be truly called a productized service.
Because you need the margin standardization that you gain from
Got it.
products. You can't market it like a product when you have variable margin.
Professor Greenberg, thank you for sticking with me here and walking me through as an idiot for the first 15 minutes.
This is going to be a great post. I don't think I've ever explained it in this much depth.
No, I love it. Okay, so now that I'm like caught up and you have a digital agency providing productized services, what is the productized service that you are currently offering? Now we can like go back. I know you already said it, but now we can go back and I can understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So I actually own 3 right now.
Okay.
I operate 1. And so the other 2 that I don't operate are both in podcasting. One's in podcast post-production. One's in podcast guest placement, so putting people on shows as a guest. The one I operate is a digital operations consulting service. And so that means AI, automation, and like process design, workflow optimization for really mostly companies between 2 and 100 million, like that 10 to 100 employees, 10 to 200 employees range.
Small range, sure.
Yeah. But yeah, small range. It's
2 to 150 billion, but you know, it's just, I'm just kidding.
I'd say 80% of our clients are in the 2 to 20 million range, and then the other 20% are in that 50 to 100.
What kind of businesses? Are they similar businesses? Or are they just any types of businesses in that range?
Oh, I mean, we work with digital communities like Hampton, Buy Then Build, Acquisition Lab. We work with traditional businesses like rolling shutter manufacturers and
cool.
laboratory supply. Honestly, we're 40% construction and commercial services now. You know, we're building ground up. We're doing, barn dominiums and metal sheds, or we're doing concrete finish. I was not expecting the variety that we have, but all businesses have the same problems.
Let's say I'm a healthcare company because I know healthcare, so I can speak intelligently to that. And I provide services. I come to you and I say, Michael, by the way, is it Mike or Michael? What do you prefer?
There were 3 of us in kindergarten. So long as it's not Mikey, we're A-okay.
Perfect. I'm going to stick with Michael. I come to you and I'm like, hey, Michael, my back office is a mess, from intake to scheduling to billing to all these things. Can you help me? And you would say, yeah, I can help you. And then you work with my company to integrate some Zapier automations.
Ooh, if you're a healthcare company, you can't use Zapier.
I can't Zapier? Why not?
It's not HIPAA compliant.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I mean, I've never used Zapier in my company, so
yeah. If you say healthcare or finance, The first thing we're doing is we're doing a tool audit because there's regulatory compliance.
Take healthcare and finance out of it. Let's say I'm just a regular company and window washing company, and I'm just trying to get like from referral to scheduling to billing to collections, all that stuff. What are you doing?
Oh yeah. So we're still starting with a tool audit. First, we're going to find out, what do you actually use? How's your company set up right now? That's going to be a week or two generally of sort of talking with people. And we know, oh, if you're a window washing company, we know you've got field crews. We know you've got a back office. We know that you're bidding a job and you might send 2 bids to somebody, but you're probably not sending 10 bids if you're doing window washing. We know that you're not on insurance. So we know there's different pieces of your business that may or may not be there. And we've got a pretty good idea how you should be operating. We know everyone needs to check in every day. We know you're going to want photos of before and after when something's getting cleaned. There's some basics there.
Sure.
And we're going to make sure that all of that exists in some form inside the business.
Mm.
And it's not going to. You're not going to have software in place, right?
That's part of the tool audit. What you're saying right here is like you have a checklist.
This is all, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And you're like
We got to make
matching,
sure.
you're matching what you know needs to be there with what they currently have.
Yep.
They're not providing you with the, hey, Michael, we know this needs to be here.
Oh, they'll say that, but they don't, how many of my clients come in and they say, oh, we really need to improve our sales process, or we need to improve our project management. And they don't even get contracts signed from their clients half the time.
That's such a good point. Cause like lots of times we focus on, I need to increase sales. And then you dig into it and you're like, oh, actually, your sales are fantastic. It's your lead conversion. Like you should be converting at a 75% clip and you're converting at a 30% clip. So like you're getting all the leads that you should be, you're just not converting. So let's focus here. When they think like, oh, I just need more leads, right? Like as you dig into it and you look at the processes, you find out it's something else. So that's a really, really good point, is people don't know what's broken, but they do know that the outcome is not where they want it to be.
Yep. And they overestimate the level of documentation and internal knowledge the company actually has. I can't count the number of times we've put a flow chart in front of somebody and been like, this is how your company operates right now. Did you know that? Nope. I had no idea we did this before that.
That is one of my favorite exercises going into any new business that I've bought or integrated, is like, okay, cool. From referral to collection. That's how I usually think of it. Those are healthcare words. And so it's different in different industries. It could be from lead to collection, whatever you want to call it.
Customer journey.
Yeah, let's map it out. And it's fun. And then you start like writing things up. It becomes like circular. And people start having these aha moments where they're like, why do we do that? They've never mapped it before. They've never actually sat down and taken a look at whether or not it makes sense. And you're doing that. You're doing that upon audit and then giving them this feedback, right? I mean, that's kind of the way that you're approaching it with your company.
Look, every customer we work with, we know they all want an AI that does half the jobs for them. Mm-hmm. In order to get to that, you need all your data unified and you need all of it nicely formatted. And in order to get to that, you need to actually know what people do, and you need to know what you need to measure, and you need to know what data you need to collect, and you need to know where it lives right now. And in order to do that, we got to talk with a lot of people and draw some diagrams.
I love your business, man.
Thank you.
This is the stuff that I love doing in businesses. Like I love going in and articulating the problem and then solving the problem, but I've never heard it described the way that you're describing it. It just hits me. It just hits me. Like you've productized this service. It's so cool to hear you talk about it.
See, the way we've done it, I think, is that this is the model of productized services that gets you to 10 million. We can dig in on this a little real quick. This is not something that anyone talking about productized services is really going to tell you, unless their name's Hunter Hammonds, because Hunter put out a lot of BS at first, but he's putting out some pretty good content now. You need a high ticket productized service in order to scale to 10 million plus. Honestly, if you even want to get like north of 5 million with a productized service, you need an average ticket for like annual customer spend to be in the 60,000 plus range. You really need a $5,000 retainer as sort of your minimum. And you really want to be hitting like 8 to 10 grand as a baseline, because you want a customer to spend 100,000 a year with you or more.
forget about calling it a productized service. If you want your business to scale past 10 million, you have to have standardized systems and processes. There's a reason why franchises do really well, because you can come in, you can plug it in, and they have everything laid out. This is how we make the food. This is how we sell the product. This is how we market. This is how we do, X, Y, and Z. They've gone and they've standardized it. And so you go to an In-N-Out burger, or you go to a Chick-fil-A, or you go to a McDonald's, they all feel the same because they've got their standardized process in place, right? And so
Ooh,
it's
yeah.
interesting. It's very meta, but like your business is a standardized product business that helps people standardize their products through digital automation.
Standardization is the goal with the company, right? Because the way we talk about it internally is there's the 5 C's of digital operations. Those really turn into 99% of the time, you're looking for consistency, clarity, capacity, confidence, and cash flow.
Okay. Hold on. Say them again a little slower for
Oh, yeah.
the slow
Let's
people like
break them
me.
down. So, first, we're going to document everything. And that's going to
That's
allow us,
clarity.
that's consistency.
Oh,
Everyone
consistency.
knows
Okay.
what they need to do.
Okay.
And then
Consistency.
that consistency is going to allow us to bring clarity, because now that everyone knows what they need to do, they know what they should be doing every day.
Mm-hmm.
And most importantly, their managers and bosses know what they are doing because we can put dashboards in place.
Mm.
So clarity generally comes from dashboards. That then allows us, now that we have everyone's work tracked and we have it measured, we are then able to build in new capacity because we can start automating things and solving for bottlenecks.
Okay. So we've got consistency, clarity,
Yep.
capacity.
Yep. And then now that we're able to increase the individual capacity of a team member, there is confidence in the team because they are all doing what they're supposed to be doing and they're seeing things run more smoothly, and in the management that they're going to be able to grow and hit their numbers because things are now aligned more effectively. And the end result of that is more cash flow.
I didn't know I was going to be taking a course today, but
That
I'm freaking here for it, Michael.
I'm working on
This
a book about this right now, so I'm getting
fired. Okay.
all my stuff worked out.
Consistency, clarity. I love the clarity piece because, like, clarity is kindness, in my opinion. People need to
Yep.
know what they're just what they're supposed to be doing, what the expectations are of their performance, where they stand currently relative to that expectation. Capacity, confidence, cash flow. So really, the last C, cash flows, is the result of all of those things.
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, I think of them all as results, right? In order to gain consistency, we have to do these other things. In order to gain clarity, we have to do these other things. And so we work our way up the chain.
I'm thinking it's a pyramid, right? Like, base of the pyramid is consistency. So what you're saying is like, all right, we got to get consistency. Let's document these SOPs. Let's make sure that everybody's on the same page with, who does what. Then there's clarity. How do we measure it? What is success? Everybody's on the same page. Then there's that clarity and consistency create capacity, which allows you to do more with the same. And having that capacity gives you the confidence to go and grow the business. And that confidence then leads to more cash flows. So, to me, it seems like a pyramid that starts with that base of consistency. I love it.
I'm going to use a pyramid when I put it in a presentation for a keynote sometime.
Just like cite me. Just cite me at
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just kidding.
At Niconomics.
Economics. Okay, guys, we're going to get back to the show in just 1 second. But first, a message from a sponsor who is me. Oh, it's me because I'm doing the show for free. Listen, I want to give you $100. All you have to do is this: go to Apple or Spotify, give me 5 stars, write a review, screenshot that review, send it to me, Nick at cofounders.com, and you will be entered to win a $100 Amazon gift card. Every 4 episodes, I am going to choose a winner at random, and I'm going to do this 5 times. $500 for 5 stars. I just made that up, and it's what I'm calling it. Please go to Apple or Spotify, leave a review, screenshot it, send it to me, Nick at cofounders.com, and you'll be entered to win a $100 Amazon gift card. All right, let's get back to the show. All right, so you've come in. This is beautiful, by the way. Like, not many people in their businesses are as clear about what they do as you are. And it's a
Thank you.
beautiful thing to talk to somebody like you, because as I'm digging into these questions, you're not just giving me platitudes or high level, like, oh yeah, this is my philosophy on it. You're very tactical. with like, oh, that's a good question. Here's how we do it exactly in 5 steps. Here's exactly the way that we think about it in this process flow, which makes sense then that you have a productized service helping people create consistency and organization within the organization. So anyways, it's beautiful. So you come in, you do this audit, the results of the audit then inform how you're going to help them automate. Do you have like preferred tools that you use? Are you like picking and choosing based on the type of company?
So I think this is one of the things that probably sets us apart from, like, we are a digital operations partner. And I like to use that as our way to say we are not an automation company. An automator is a team member at our company. We do automation better than your automation company because we understand the rest of the infrastructure and the architecture. But automation's normally step 3 or 4 for us. It's not step 1. I like to clarify that up front because we work as a team with our clients, and they're going to get one lead team member that we call a draftsman. And that person is really going to embed with their team, and they're going to own those workflow diagrams and lead the project management. And eventually they end up just being the equivalent of the IT guy, but for this sort of digital operations work inside of a company. But they're supported.
You're not an automation company, but automation is a function that you can provide.
Yes. And in fact, we provide it for most of our customers. But I like to clarify that automation is a result of the work we do.
Mm-hmm.
It is a high, like, I know as soon as we install automation, we're 2 to 300% ROI within 9 months.
Back to the beginning. What does your business do? Because I would have been like, oh, it's a digital automation company, but it's not a digital automation company.
We are a digital operations partner. So just like how your company is going to have an outsourced IT partner, or they might have a fractional CMO sort of package where everything in the marketing department runs through one agency.
Mm-hmm.
We are staffing you with that primary point of contact. They're probably in your company half time, that draftsman. And then they have a whole pool and team of specialists that they're calling on to do specific integrations or automations. And they have an architect who is a fractional C level, like me or one of my partners, who then is going to be leading the strategy with the company.
It seems like once you built that infrastructure, once you're like, okay, this is the flow and this is what we do, it's kind of a set it and forget it. Is there a lot of tinkering that you're doing? There is.
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
So, like, I'd say you're right. In a larger company, it's going to be set it and forget it. If a company is growing fast, though, that process is going to change every year or two. Once you're at 10 million a year, this is a cycle of a process where it's like, okay, in 1 year, we're going to do one turn on all of our departments. But next year, there's new tools, there's new AI, there's new automations. And oh, our ERP did an upgrade to their API, and all of the automations that we had synced with it broke. So we need to rebuild those. And
So do me a favor. Explain what an ERP is, an API,
absolutely.
because you like glossed over those really quickly. What is an ERP and what is an API?
ERP is an enterprise resource planning system. It is that big, ugly piece of software that your company buys when they hit like 10 million a year or 5 million a year, that is customized to solve for some niche of industry and like inventory financial planning issues that no other software can solve.
Yeah. Okay. And so you couple that with an API change, which is,
That's an application programming interface. And so APIs are the doorways between software on the internet.
yeah. So if your ERP system is pulling data, because an ERP system is just a system, right? Like all the other data lives in or can live in other, I shouldn't say all. It's pulling a lot of data from a lot of different places. If you're doing, your accounting, your GL accounting in QuickBooks or Great Plains, if your payments are processed through Stripe or Bank of America, if your ordering is through another software, right? Like it pulls it all to a central place. And then from that central place, it gives you real time insights into your resources. Because that's why they call it enterprise resource planning, is because it allows you to resource plan based on the information that is put in there. And what you're saying is If the API changes, right, it's no longer able to pull in a certain way from one of those places, then the ability to gain insights from that data also changes. So it causes potentially a process flow that you and your team need to come in, assess, and, I don't know, rejigger on the fly. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just update, fix, duct tape.
So all that stuff sounds highly specialized where you've got to come in and make assessments. How do you productize it? Because it sounds like you're standardizing the pricing and you're standardizing the product offering, but all of those things don't feel standardized to me. How does it work?
So it really comes down to, if you remember at the very beginning of the conversation, I said, most of what I do, you're either buying a part of a team or you're buying a part of a person. And so with this business, you're getting a little bit of both. We're putting one draftsman in, and that draftsman is going to understand your business. They probably have a background working with similar businesses. They definitely have 3 to 5 years of operations consulting experience. Most of them have master's degrees, and they know your software already.
So you're placing a draftsman. I mean, the only analogous word I can use for it is like an account manager, but they're not really an account manager.
It's more like you're hiring somebody internally.
Yeah, they're a member of your team. They're the draftsman. They're essentially responsible for these internal processes and flows. Is that right?
Yeah. And so essentially that draftsman is coming in and they are a fraction, or on our larger clients, they are fully embedded, and they are going to be an operations team member.
So then, how do you charge? Are you charging a markup on the draftsman's?
We charge a flat fee.
Okay.
So we offer two primary flat fee packages. And then when somebody gets into hiring 2, 3, 4 people from us, we transition to one membership fee. And then we're just charging a 10% to cover our costs, kind of thing.
Okay. So if I'm a company, I hire a draftsman. I pay the draftsman $100,000 a year. I pay you a percentage of that.
Oh no, you pay us 100,000 a year. And then we're going to pay that draftsman, let's call it, if you're paying us 100,000 a year, and that is our second most common package, you're getting a full-time equivalent team member.
Got it.
And so your draftsman is going to be across between 2 and 3 accounts, and they are going to have another person, a specialist, who is skilled in your automation and integration stack.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have a technical specialist that they work with, and you're probably never going to speak with that specialist. You're only
But the
going to talk
architect
with,
will.
well, the draftsman will. Yeah.
The draftsman. I'm such an
Yeah, I
idiot.
know. There's
Okay.
3 people. That's the benefit is you're going to meet with your architect every quarter or every month. And you and I are going to sit down and we're going to say, oh, CEO to CEO or architect to CEO, where are the problems in your business? Where's the strategic focus for this next quarter, for this next year? Okay, let's plan out our projects
Got it. And then the draftsman is the one that's executing locally.
and syncing with your team and really running it on the day to day.
Okay. So you've got the architect, the draftsman, and then what was that third one?
The specialist.
The specialist, the automation
Because
specialist.
this is all super technical stuff. I can't hire a million draftsmen who also know how to code, but I can hire specialists.
The draftsman piece I understand now. I'm paying a markup on the draftsman. How do I pay for the architect and the specialist?
Those are included in that it's an all-in-one.
They're included. Okay. So again, I'm an idiot. Now that I've asked all these questions, it sounds to me like this is similar to a staffing agency.
This is managed staffing, plain and simple.
It is
It's
managed
just
staffing
packaged up.
with just clarity around what you're providing.
Right. It's just, we're going to provide these people to you, and you're going to get, if I was just a managed staffing agency, I
Mhm.
could not give you a fraction of a C level, and I couldn't split out in these ways where by packaging as the entire service, I know that most companies are not going to have, I have one client that has digital operations in-house and hires us for just team augmentation. Every other client, their teams, Their operations team is focused on client delivery or some other piece of the business, and they just don't have these skills. They don't have the capacity to take on this work.
So if I were to dumb it down for me, is a fair way to think about this analogous to a fractional CFO, a fractional CEO, fractional COO? This is a fractional digital automation company.
Yeah. I would say it is closer to like an outsourced IT provider
Okay.
in that we are taking on an entire department's worth of positions and we will scale with you ad infinitum.
Yeah, there's not a good word for it, right? Because it's not just automation, it's the architecture. It's the
And
creation of the processes that is really, like in my mind, that's the biggest differentiator.
it's digital operations is what we
Yeah.
call it. And we say it's AI plus automation plus this operations work.
Walk me through the model. Broadly speaking, what do you charge? What are your margins? How does that look?
So our two most popular packages are 5K a month and 8.5K a month.
Okay.
So they're priced to a $60,000 a year and $100,000 a year.
But how do you decide who gets those levels? Does the client decide?
Most clients, we just say start with the 60.
Okay, so it's not like, oh, you're a $50 million agency, you need the 100,000 a year.
If you're a $50 million a year agency and you've got 200 people and you are trying to start in multiple departments at once or something, then we'll recommend a bigger package. But for most, it's, hey, let's get somebody in the door. Let's get a culture fit with your team and your draftsmen. Let's get some quick wins, and then we can land and expand.
Okay, so I like that. So the $60,000 a year, they grow with you. What do you margins? Can you talk margins? Kind of what that net is for you?
We on that 60,000, we're gonna end up netting between 12 and 20. And that really just comes down to the mix of the team. And if the client needs a lot more specialist work, that takes up a little more of our margin.
So 20 to 33%. So it's not like for me, I look at that in health from healthcare and I'm like, oh, that's a high margin business. But these aren't 80, 90% SaaS level margins. This
No,
is,
this is, I'm not a offshore staffing company. Even
yeah.
though we have team off store, we're not hitting a 70% margin. We need enough margin that like, oh, we need to recruit and hire people and pay
Hmm.
taxes and other things like that. But this is a very sticky business. And the goal is to be competitive against them trying to go out and recruit and train and retain this very difficult to hire talent right now.
Yeah.
And so that's, I'm pricing to be a little cheaper than that, but we're not trying to make billions.
How do you acquire customers? What's your current sales channel like?
It's a mix of referrals and partnerships.
Okay.
So I'm partnered with a number of different like communities online where I come in and I speak as their AI guy or their automation guy or their digital operations guy. They, as a result, send us some leads. And then we're also a ClickUp implementation partner. So they send us a few leads and then we do great work and our clients send it. I don't really market this. I've been super quiet on Twitter lately because we've been so darn busy. We just brought on a new senior partner that I'm super excited about. And yeah, the business really came together as a result of us going slow and figuring out how to serve.
Do you have any idea like what your CAC or LTV is for your customers, or has it not been long enough to know?
My CAC is too low to count. Like,
Okay.
it's nearly all organic. So we're talking probably under $20 a lead.
And what is your churn like with these clients?
I think in the past year, we've been at like 10 or 15% churn.
Okay. That's great
So
churn.
I'm looking at that and I'm like, man, if I'm losing that many, I'm not happy.
It's okay. It's okay to be unhappy. I'm just saying that, many companies are like 2 to 3% a month in their
Oh, yeah.
churn.
Compared to an
That they
agency, like compared to a standard service business, we are crushing it in churn.
Yeah.
But when I look at where I want us to be, I want us to be at 125% retention rate.
How big is your company? Can you give me like high level, like what's it currently doing? Top line, how many customers do you have?
So this year, I think we'll do right in the like 800 to 1.2 million range total. Last year, we did right around half that, maybe a little less actually. We're probably, I'd say, 50 to 60K a month right now, somewhere in
That's
there.
awesome. But you're growing. I mean, you're growing 50, 100% a
Yeah, we
year.
grow about
That's
10% a month. We add 1 to 2 clients every month right now.
that's awesome,
And
man.
so with that, if I'm adding 2 clients, I'm hiring a new person.
All right. Well, first of all, it's been an amazing conversation because I've learned a ton. It's like I went back to school today. I have some rapid fire questions to wrap this up here.
Let's
Are
do
you
it.
ready? Okay, cool. What do you love about this business?
This is the first business that I have started where I am both the expert in the work and I think it is actually a unique business on an upward industry trend.
You love it because you feel like it's maximizing your skill set and you're riding a wave.
I think it's the right business with the right person at the right time.
Awesome. That's a good reason to love it.
Thanks.
What do you hate about this business?
Ooh, I mean, I hate any sort of client focused business, but I've put my entire entrepreneurial thesis together on serving clients. So like I can hate it as much as I want. People are people. You're going to work with them if you want a business.
Thank you for being honest. I get to this question a lot of times and people are like, oh, I don't think there's anything I hate about this business. Hate is a strong word. And I'm like, okay, just like
You know,
humor me here. There's always aspects to things, anyways, that people don't like.
if you're an entrepreneur and you've never gotten angry enough to fire somebody on the spot, you have not been in business for more than a year.
All right. What industry are you the most jealous of right now?
Can I flip that? Can I say who I'm not jealous of at all?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Oh, if you're running like a niche vertical SaaS company right now, especially if you're running an industry specific CRM, I am scared for you.
Why? Tell me.
30% of my clients are building custom CRMs. The cost for a complex custom CRM is under 20,000 now. You're looking at under 5 or 10,000 a year for maintenance. It's becoming cheaper to roll your own than it is to buy off the shelf.
That's interesting. You know who Chamath Palihapitiya is?
Yeah.
He has a company that he just started. I think it's called 9010. It might be called 8020. I can't remember. It's one of those things, but it's essentially a company. Like his whole thesis is now with artificial intelligence, the cost to create these enterprise level softwares, well, you can get 90% of the functionality for 10% of the cost. Or it's like 80% of the functionality with 20% of the cost. I can't remember what the numbers are, but it's something to that level. So what you're describing is that in effect.
That's I am seeing it in the field.
Wow. Okay.
It's not filtered, you can't replace your ERP yet. But do we have customers that are replacing the customization they built on their ERP? Yes. And is it going to cost them a tenth of the cost to maintain? Yes.
And for people who don't know, CRM is
Customer relationship or contact relationship management software.
I've heard customer contact and client.
It's probably all of them depending on the industry.
The 5 C's, I'm just kidding. It's essentially the system and database that you use to track your leads and your customers and make sure you're following up with them in a timely manner and that even the ones that you have, you're providing good customer service. It's integral for any business that has customers.
Yeah. And Salesforce and HubSpot are the two you hear about a lot that are both pretty expensive to run on.
Okay, what are you obsessed with right now? So to clarify that, if you had 2 hours in your day, you have no work stuff, you have no family stuff, you can do whatever you want. What are you spending your time on?
So I am working on a financial model right now
Okay.
to build like a little Airbnb eco resort about an hour and a half, 2 hours south of me.
What's an eco resort?
It's I'm gonna buy like 110 acres, something like that, and then I'm gonna put some Airbnbs on it, and we're gonna do permaculture for like fruit and other things. So that way you can stay at an Airbnb or like you can stay at like a fancy tent, a glamping tent,
Mm-hmm.
and then in the beautiful Missouri mountains,
Okay.
which Missouri does have beautiful mountains if you've
Yeah.
never been.
Yeah.
And then you can forage your own food on the property is the idea.
That's awesome.
And so right now I'm going to drive out this weekend and we're going to go check out a mountain and then we're going to buy it if it looks good.
So I was just in Columbia a couple weeks ago,
Oh yeah.
and that is not an easy place to get to from Boise, at least. But
That's
yeah, it's
well,
beautiful, beautiful out there.
hour and a half south of Columbia. It's going to be, you hit the Ozark Plateau and the St. Francis Mountains.
Where are you?
I'm in St. Louis.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
you may or may not have flown into St. Louis in
I
order to
did.
get to
I did. I
Columbia.
flew into St. Louis. I'm going out to Main Street in September. Are you going?
Oh, it's the only, in fact, for the audience, the only place you can meet me in person without flying to St. Louis is Main Street Summit, because that is the only thing I'm going to go to
Perfect. We'll both
till
be
I get
there.
invited to Capital Camp. Then I'll be
Oh,
at both.
I love that obsession. That's a fantastic obsession. Last question. What advice would you give yourself 10 years ago?
You are probably more right than you realize.
Hmm.
And also, most people are dumber than you think.
It's good
Oh, and
advice.
get a concierge doctor. That last one is really important.
Okay. All right.
Impossible to get in for a good JP.
Michael, this has been freaking fantastic. I need to have you back on because there's other businesses that you have and I want to dive into those.
Anytime.
Where is the best place for people to find you?
You can find me on Twitter, and that's going to have a link to my website too. But it's called X now, I think. It's at Gent of Tech, GENTOFTECH. I'm that everywhere on the internet.
And what's your business called?
Third Brain. Find us
Third
at
Brain. Love it.
3rdbrain.co.
Okay. This is perfect. This was awesome.
Thank you.
We need to do this again sometime. Much appreciate you, man.
Looking forward to having you on my show.
Let's do it. All right. That's it. Another one for the books. I'm fired up. I don't know what else to say. I hope you found something valuable in that conversation. I hope you learned something. I hope there's something that you can apply to your business today, tomorrow, in the future that makes you money, makes you more successful, gives you more time with your kids. If there was something, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Give me some feedback. And if you like actionable advice and you want more of this, I write a weekly newsletter that gives insights, tips, and tricks into the world of entrepreneurship. Subscribe in my bio. And if I can help you in any way in your entrepreneurial journey, don't hesitate to reach out to me, nick@cofounders.com. Sorry, Kelly, for more emails. And the last thing is, remember, curiosity is a superpower and you can use it to your advantage. As my mom used to say, there's no such thing as a dumb question, only dumb people. We'll see you next time.